No, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other shit going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Sheryl Swoopes is fuming. She swore up and down that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever wouldn't land any top free agents. And guess what? They just did exactly that. Now Sheryl's out here looking like the world's worst psychic while Indiana quietly built a super team. Somebody check on her, she might need a timeout. Let's break down how the Fever just dominated free agency while Swoopes takes the biggest L.
So will Caitlin Clark be a good pro? Absolutely. Will Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now? Immediately? Absolutely not. Not gonna happen.
Okay. Not on the right team?
Sheryl Swoopes was wrong again. A scene that's becoming a regular occurrence at this point. So let's rewind. Sheryl Swoopes, Hall of Famer, legend in her own right, but also a full-time hater with benefits. Miss, I know everything about the WNBA, confidently declared that the Indiana Fever would never, yes never, sign top-tier free agents. Fast forward to today, and let's just say Sheryl's somewhere gnawing on her own hat like it's a Popeye's biscuit with no drink, because guess what? The Indiana Fever are out here making moves like a Silicon Valley startup.
What it do, peeps? Sheryl Swoopes is been missing. Sheryl Swoopes is MIA. They got a APB out for Sheryl Swoopes. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, she did a lot of talking a few months ago about the Indiana Fever, the locker room environment, how people didn't want to play there, how people wanted to leave. Stephanie White came in and said, okay, hold up. Let me go to Indeed.com and Indeed get some free agents to come in here that want to play, that are accomplished, seasoned veterans. She did all that. Cheryl's been nowhere to been found. Sheryl got a lot of crow to eat, folks. Sheryl could be choking on crow right now. She need that Heimlich maneuver. If you see Sheryl Swoopes, tell her it's okay to come out and talk and say, man, you was wrong. It's okay.
And I bet Sheryl was sitting back thinking, ain't no way these players are going to Indiana. But guess what? The contracts are signed, the jerseys are printed, and the haters are left in absolute shambles. And let's not forget, this is the same Sheryl Swoopes who swore up and down that Caitlin Clark would need years to adjust to the WNBA, as if Clark wasn't already out here dropping 40 pieces like she owns the place.
Fever fans are already becoming huge fans of Natasha Howard, and that is something that I've talked about in previous videos. The Indiana Fever are that golden destination, and I can't help but laugh to the fans and the people online who, and the media commentators, unfortunately, who said that nobody wanted to play in Indiana. That doesn't make any sense.
Let's be serious. The hate for Caitlin Clark has reached Olympic-level athleticism at this point. If there were a podium for Clark haters, Sheryl would be taking home the gold, silver, and bronze, standing up there looking salty while the national anthem plays. She's not going to translate to the WNBA, they said. Yeah. Well, tell that to the Fever, who are out here collecting talent like it's Pokemon Go in 2016.
If we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But
That's crazy. Is that
Those are hell of a number.
Those are hell of a numbers.
But to me, that's not dominating.
Yeah, it's only not dominating because she's a rookie.
Now, if
if she's putting up numbers like Asia right now, would she be dominating?
Yes.
So it's a
Ma'am, Caitlin Clark walks onto the court with a 3-point sniper rifle, elite passing vision, and the confidence of a villain in a superhero movie. She is not the problem. Meanwhile, Sheryl's out here dropping takes that age like milk in the sun. And let's be honest, the real reason some WNBA veterans and legends don't rock with Caitlin Clark is because she came in and stole the spotlight without asking for permission. She didn't wait for the old guard to pass her the torch. She snatched it and said, "Thanks, I got it from here."
Went even further when a game that Sheryl Swoopes was calling for the Dallas Wings, where the commentator was talking about how great Caitlin Clark had been playing. Sheryl Swoopes, silent for 60 seconds, didn't even want to address it. And it got so bad that the game that Dallas then went to play against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, after the domination of the Chicago Sky, Sheryl Swoopes got pulled from the fucking broadcast.
And that burns them up inside. Caitlin Clark has more national recognition than half the league combined, and that's not her fault. That's what happens when you're a generational talent. Sheryl Swoopes, Angel Reese, and the rest of the anti-Caitlin club are just going to have to deal with it, because while they're busy hating, Caitlin's out here stacking accolades, selling out arenas, and turning the Indiana Fever into must-watch basketball. And let's take a moment to appreciate that the Indiana Fever, yes, the Indiana Fever, are actually building something special. The disrespect this team got before Caitlyn arrived was wild. Nobody wants to go there. They'll never be a top team. Blah blah blah. Well, the Fever are now signing free agents like they're going out of style, and Sheryl Swoopes might want to start deleting some of those old takes, because the receipts? Oh, they're coming out. The Caitlyn Clark era is in full motion, and the Indiana Fever slander has officially expired.
Pick up a vet, a professional like Sydney Colson, and then you also have a vet like DeWanna Bonner, and you also have a vet like Kelsey Mitchell, and then you have Cece and Aaliyah Boston and Lexi and the MAGA Barbie, and isn't Katie Lou still on your team too? So I mean, shout out to the Indiana Fever, but it's clear that this is a scheme that Todd set up to get Cece a ring.
Now fast forward to today, and guess what? DeWanna Bonner packed her bags and said, "Honey, I'm home." Natasha Howard pulled up like, "Y'all got room for one more?" Sydney Colson, yes, the comedic legend, said, "I feel like hooping today." And Sophie Cunningham? Oh, she's ready to fight for her squad like it's WWE SmackDown. So Sheryl, what happened to players don't want to go to Indiana? Was she talking to ghosts? Because real players, players who matter, are signing with the Fever like it's a 5-star resort. Did she really think they'd have to beg people to play with Caitlyn Clark? Nah, let's be serious. What player in their right mind looks at the WNBA's most hyped rookie, a young rising team, and a fan base that treats every game like a Beyoncé concert and says, "Nah, I'd rather struggle elsewhere"? Be so for real.
By the way, every single narrative about the Fever is like whatever about them signing Sophie Cunningham, who they don't like. They love DeWanna Bonner. Like these people, they signed DeWanna Bonner, and again, they were saying like, we have actual people working for networks being like, DeWanna Bonner will never sign for the Fever for obvious reasons. And I'm like, what are the obvious reasons? Genuinely, what are the obvious reasons? They are basketball players.
Like, let's talk about the Fever. And by the way, every single narrative about them just keeps aging worse by the minute. They signed Sophie Cunningham, who people claim no one likes, and then DeWanna Bonner, who everybody loves. And the same talking heads who swore Bonner would never sign with Indiana are now backpedaling like they just got crossed at half court. We even had actual people on national networks saying, DeWanna Bonner will never sign with the Fever, for obvious reasons. And I'm over here like, what obvious reasons? Genuinely, what are they? These are basketball players, not contestants on a reality show. Somebody check on Sheryl. I think she's stuck in 2002, back when the Fever weren't exactly an attraction. Just times have changed. This isn't Tamika Catchings dragging a roster of accountants and gym teachers anymore. The Indiana Fever are loaded. Natasha Howard, a champion, a defensive powerhouse, an all-around bucket getter. DeWanna Bonner, 6 feet 4 inches, a walking mismatch, elite scorer, and part of one of the WNBA's ultimate power couples. Sophie Cunningham, she's bringing the spice, the swagger, the I will trash talk your soul out of your body energy this team needs. And Sydney Colson? Even if she doesn't play major minutes, she's about to have the locker room vibes at 100, chemistry through the roof.